Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another of... What is the name of this show? Oh my god, it's
The Last of Us.
No, not The Last of Us. The name of our show.
All caught up.
All caught up. Okay, one more time. All right, 1, 2, 3. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of All Caught Up with us here in Geeks and Degenerates. We're going to be talking about, well, I wasn't here last week, so I had to leave it to them. I don't know what they talked about, but we're going to be talking about now episode 5, pre-Super Bowl episode that came out a little earlier, episode 5. So with that being the case, let's get straight into it because, wow, I'm pretty sure this was only 56 minutes, and I was like, a lot happened, and I'm in pain. I'm like on the floor in pain.
Yeah.
But I think let's ask first the both of you guys, what were your expectations for having already seen episode 4? What were your expectations regarding this episode? Because we did get different plot points regarding their backstories, right? Like, or not their backstories, but like the story as it unfolds. Because when I was watching it with the person who did play the game, I kept having to ask, like, did this happen? Is this person relevant? Who's this? Who's this? Go, Enzo. I think you should go first.
Yeah, I think you should go first.
I was expecting pain because I'm like, oh, cool, it's Henry and Sam. This is not going to end well. But like a part of me was like, well, Bill and Frank ended differently, so maybe they do go to Wyoming, but I was wrong.
I said that too. I was like, oh, like I keep hearing like sad things about these guys, and I got spoiled about what happens in the game. So I was like, ooh, I don't know where this is going. But then again, I was like, oh, but Bill and Frank had a happy ending. Maybe I won't cry. Maybe I won't cry this episode. But yeah, and so?
Yeah, there were some things. Jomer last time said, was like, well, episode 4 is not a lot of emotional things happen, and I'm not sure if episode 5 is gonna pick it up. And yeah, he was right when he said it's gonna pick up. So yeah,
because
I came for tears and left in tears. Thanks.
Yeah, because I think episode 4 was a lot of. I mean, I wasn't there, so I guess I'll just give a little bit of my thoughts. It was a lot of setup. From what we noticed, right? It was a lot of like Joel and Ellie. It was a lot of like, like smaller moments that would have added up to episode 5, which it really did, because you come in, you think to yourselves like, who is Henry and Sam? Why does this woman hate them? Poor doctor, why'd you get shot? Oh my god. And then like firefight, and then of course Ellie's like first, on-screen traumatic experience. I mean,
No, you're right. On screen.
No.
Yeah.
On screen.
No, but we count Tess. That was also traumatic and on screen.
She didn't see it.
But she was definitely traumatized.
I don't know.
Joe was like, yeah, a building blowing up with somebody that you cared about was definitely not traumatic. Fighting against the clicker was definitely not traumatic.
I don't see nobody. I don't think she's dead yet.
It doesn't count if I don't know it. It's not real if I don't look, but right. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, okay, like I'm aware because Enzo did share the initial promotional pictures of Henry and Sam when we got them. So I was like, cool. I don't know who these guys are. I completely forgot. And then someone on TikTok kind of spoiled the game for me, and I was like, oh, so that's what happens. But I was, of course, me being like, we got a lot of change from Bill and Frank. What could go wrong? But what about you, Joba? What was your... You also played the game. Like, what was your expectation for episode 5?
Because, we got to the episode of, like, oh, yeah, somebody is faking an injury. Joel has enough experience. We got that whole setup, right? We have this whole town filled with people who went against Fedra. And now we also have like this clue that there's something underneath the city. And we don't know what it is, but there's something underneath the city. And we find out what was underneath it. At the beginning of this episode is them having a whole uprising and shit. Finally, putting all the dead bodies underground. And I love that setup. I really do. That they're like, oh, we fucked up.
Yeah.
We fucked up.
Because like I think. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was like, oh, we should have disposed of these bodies a little bit better. I don't know. I just like that whole setup, and I think we kind of called it because concave area in the ground, and we see that big bloater thing in the trailer. And you're like, all right, I think this is where it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those two baddies, not really baddies, but the lady and the guy, who's also the voice of Tommy, by the way.
Tommy,
Yeah.
I was like, this guy is too good looking to be a rando. Who is he? And then like people were like, that's Tommy's voice actor, and I was like,
Yeah.
cool, kind of giving like if Frank was straight vibes, but you know, that's just.
Okay.
It's like if Frank decided to, it's like if Frank and Bill became one person, like it gave that vibe. No, I'm just kidding. It was just the beard kasi, but like anyway.
Yeah.
I think what was nice about the episode was that even though that episode 4 was a lot of like set up, especially like post what happens with Bill and Frank, at least, you know, we finally get to see more kind of interactions between Joel and Ellie. And then this was, I feel like, kind of, you know, it's the kind of thing where it's like you pull on a rubber band and everything, like all of episode 4 was pulling on that rubber band, and episode 5 was like when you finally let it go and the snap happens. And man, if the snap doesn't happen, because the latter half of that episode was insane. But before we get to that, I think it's important that we talk about the, you know, oh, you guys did talk about, no, this is the episode we find out that Sam is deaf.
Yeah.
This is the one where we fully find out that that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Like we see the whole situation where you know, Joel and Ellie have that thing with Henry and Sam where it's like, you know, Henry's like tell him we're good, and he's like, it's fine, he's got an asshole voice. It's just how he talks, you know. And I made the joke. I was like, oh, Ellie is Joel's translator.
Yeah.
She's his translator for like nice words.
I love Ellie's reaction when they're like, no, I gotta trust you. I really gotta trust you. Are we good? And Joel goes, yeah, we're good. And then Ellie goes, just like, come on, man.
She's like, come on, man. You know, it's like you can see Ellie is now able to read him a lot better, which is great. And then we see, obviously, you know, the whole dynamic of like, we get to see companions that mirror Joel and Ellie. But like if Joel and Ellie were like 10 years already into their relationship of like father-daughter kind of deal, right? Except with siblings. You know, like the true, like if we got to see Bill and Frank truly trust each other in their story, we also see another level of trust and like die hard, I love this person, they are the only reason I'm even like trying to stay alive at this point kind of relationship. And it's nice that Joel and Ellie are able to see that. And then of course it develops over, they finally talk over. We finally get the reason. Because I kept saying like, what did this motherfucker do? What did Henry do for everyone in the city to fucking hate him? And then you find out one of the worst things you could ever be. You could be a murderer, but like being a snitch is like
way worse.
A
it's
rat.
way worse. Being
Yeah.
a rat is the worst thing. And even I was like, ooh, a
Yeah.
rat. Like even I'm like, ooh, imagine being a rat here in
Yeah.
like this world, you know. And
Even Joel was like, I am not fucking helping a rat.
that's right. Even he was like, I've killed people, but you're a rat.
Yeah.
Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
I love how
And
there was a hierarchy or like rat right
there's
here,
like
killer down
everyone
here.
because it's like, you know, people understand why you need to kill somebody, but you never want to rat on somebody else.
Yeah.
But like for me, what I was really interested in this thing was like, okay, if you guys don't know this, I don't know how I know this personally. I don't. But like what's very interesting is that, so this is not something that they say outright, but the whole idea of, what was it, informants or something, or like collaborators, right? So the whole idea of collaborators is a very interesting thing, because when you are put in a situation where a government needs to, so we'll just say government, or like a power, when a high-ranking like power needs to keep people in control, what they do is they incentivize paranoia, and they incentivize being a rat. So of course, right, you say, if you work with us, we'll give you a lot more stuff, but don't tell anybody, because one, they'll kill you, and we'll kill you if you tell them, and you won't get the things that you need.
Yeah.
What you understand is that it's really bright. What you also understand is that if people don't know who to trust, you cannot revolt. That is like number one like thing when you want to stop people from revolutionizing and protesting and putting you out of power, is to make sure they cannot even trust each other. And that's why I was like, this is the most fucked up genius thing that they put in this city, because like having collaborators that nobody knows, I'm like, that's so fucked up, because now you can't even trust your neighbor, which means if you cannot trust your neighbor, you can't plan for a revolution. So I was like, ooh, that's fucked up. Because I literally had to pause and be like, damn, they're really mean here. That's bad.
Like, wow, they're really mirroring history. Like, oh, thank you.
I know, they really are. If you think about it, that's really how that's how like people in history have like been able to stop revolutions, or at least like hamper them, because you know, you do that thing, you cause infighting amongst, because of course when you're in power, you get beaten out by the 99%. There's a reason you're 1%.
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, damn, this is not like, it's not outright, but the inferring of that, I was like, dang. And then they said, oh yeah, he had leukemia, and I went, and my knees buckled, and I was like, oh god. I was like, no, not that sweet summer child. But I wanted to ask, what about you guys though? Like, we have the whole tunnel thing and the whole kindergarten, like, I don't even know what it was called. What was it called? I just called it a kindergarten.
It was just like a little place where, it wasn't a school or anything. It was just a bunker. Well, technically it was. So it was technically a Fallout vault. When the pandemic started and none of the QZs were up yet, this is where majority of the townspeople went into.
You know
what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And then what we hear is that one turned on the other and one got infected. And
yeah. I think what was really interesting... Oh, sorry, Enzo. Go ahead.
I was about to say, like, I was so afraid that they would show one of the darker stories from the game, which was the teachers having to put down the children because they're infected.
Oh.
But they hinted at it with the drawings of the security guards, so I was like, if they find the dead bodies here, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, well, it's okay. You know what? We had something just as bad. It's all right.
Yeah.
For every one bad thing they changed somehow, we got something new, and it hurts just as much, if not more sometimes. But what I found really interesting was like the way that they described the Kansas City QZ really reminded me of like Fallout. Like Fallout vaults, you know how like every Fallout vault was like a different. Okay, for those who don't know, sorry, I have to say, like Enzo put it before, and Joba said experiment, like put spoilers for Fallout, any of the Fallout games, literally. But like the fact that everyone is a different kind of like society in and of itself, because like, of course, what are you gonna do, right? You only interact with the same people. You don't have outside contact. If you commit atrocities in your city for the sake of survival, no one's gonna bat an eye, because who the fuck's gonna fight you? There's no federal government.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like in my head, I was like, you know, this is reminding me of like Fallout, like that one Fallout vault, or the many Fallout vaults where everybody gets you guys know that fucked up story where it's like they have to like sacrifice one person every year.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Something bad will happen, or they're all
or else something bad will happen, and then like they started doing like the political intrigue that it takes to vote somebody, because they're like, we'll vote the person that we hate the most instead.
Yeah, and then they find out that like, oh, nothing really happens. You just want to see, but like the vault will open if they choose not to kill anybody.
Right.
Like, wow.
And I was like, oh, that's fucked. Like it gave the same levels of fucked in my head, like fucked my head kind of deal when I found out what was going on, and I was like, dang, the world building's too good, because I'm really scared.
Yeah,
I'm really scared. Yeah, but sorry, we kept going on about world building. I think we can move on to like, I think what's some more, like, give me a point that you guys wanted to talk about, because I'm already gonna, because when we get into the latter half of it, and I'm talking about like post, like after the tunnel part where a lot of shit happens, I did want to ask, like, was there anything prior to that that you want to talk about before we move on?
Yes. Go on.
I don't know how to feel about what's her name, Karen.
I called her that. I called her that. I was like, this woman is a fucking Karen. Her name's Kathleen, but she's a Karen in my head.
Never mind.
Okay.
Like,
I will defend myself later, but keep going, Enzo.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they stopped at the just, oh, Henry's a rat, we have to kill him. Not just, oh, Henry ratted up my brother, and now I want to kill him. And by the end, you're like, why do I care? You die by the end. You don't have any effect on the other parts of the story. Unless you call Marlene and it's like, hey, can you help me with Joel? He caused trouble in Kansas.
Yeah, like there's this whole depth thing with her where her brother was like one of the, probably the messiah of.
Yeah, it's like the
Kansas.
Messiah. Oh my God, he's Jesus and he was in a Judas.
Yeah,
Judas.
like it was that kind of situation where Henry ratted out this amazing guy who was starting a revolution, and he was like, "Forgive Henry," and she was like, "You know what? He might want me to forgive Henry, but I won't." I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess valid, but all right.
No, I think because if you think about it, because I also struggled with that, right? I was wondering in my head, like, why do I really want to give a shit about what this woman thinks? Like, she is actively going against the group that I root for. But I think we have to look at it from the perspective. One way to think about it is the parallels of it, right? Because let's think of it like this. Everybody so far has had a partner, and I don't mean romantic. I mean there's always been a very interesting social
Just a
link.
duo, yeah.
Yeah, like a duo, right? We're gonna think Joel and Ellie. We're gonna think Henry and Sam. We're gonna think Tess and Joel for a while. Frank and Bill. We're gonna think about, up until this point, we have consistently seen how much people are important. Like your social link or your really important person, your VIP in life, is important to your survival, because beyond just surviving, they become the reason to live, right? So Kathleen, I think, in my opinion, Kathleen is supposed to be what it looks like when somebody fully loses them. Because remember, we didn't lose Frank and Bill. We haven't lost Henry and Sam at that point. Spoilers for Last of Us 2, Joel and Ellie. But that's the thing, right? Is you have to look at it in the sense of like, and I'm sorry I have to bring this up because this is gonna I'm so sorry, Enzo. But if we have to look at it from the point of view of Abby and her dad in Last of Us 2 as well. In that, like, it's the direct... It's, huh?
I like Abby.
We like Abby.
No, I know! I'm talking about Enzo! That's why I'm not apologizing to you. I'm apologizing to Enzo, right?
Okay.
Because I'm also somewhat of a Last of Us 2 defender to a certain extent, okay? With nuances. But anyway, it's the direct correlation of what happens if somebody important loses somebody else, and you have the opportunity to kill them, right? It's like your only reason for living is now gone because of this person. And you understand Henry and Sam. Of course you do. His brother was sick. Even the guy that died said don't do it. Yeah, like you have to think of it in this way. Like, of course, we didn't get as much in depth because we didn't see our brother or anything. But you have to look at it from the kind of point of view of like Kathleen is the direct, like it's like a prediction. It's like a prediction of like if any of these fuckers lose the person that they love, you could end up like Kathleen. You know,
the foreshadowing of.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, foreshadowing. That's a better term. Thanks, Jova. But you get what I mean. Like, what are your thoughts on me with that point? Because that's what I told myself to defend the episode, kind of, or Kathleen.
That's fair.
I really like her though.
Yeah.
I still don't like her though. I just find her annoying the way she talks. It's giving Karen vibes. It's giving like I wanna let me speak to your manager. You killed my brother.
She goes to your manager and is like, haven't you heard? Kansas City is free. Like, shut up. Please.
I know. There's something about the intonation, and you know what? Props to the actress for annoying me. It's so hard to do that, but it's terrible.
I mean, she does
Every
have.
time she spoke.
She does has more development than Perry the Rebellious Platypus, so there's that.
Is that his name? Who?
I forgot about that. Tommy's character.
Yeah.
The guy who voices
His
Tommy.
name is Perry.
Yeah.
Oh, Perry the what? Say that again.
The Rebellious Bearded Platypus.
No, but like.
I wish he wore a hat.
I know. But like that's what you get what I mean, right? Like she's supposed to be the foreshadowing of what it looks like if you lost your person and you had that opportunity to kill.
Yeah.
And like I guess it's supposed to be a sign that's like, oh, you know, at the end of the day, regardless of what you want to be as a person or what this person wanted you to be, if you want to be a vengeful, spiteful bitch, you totally could be. They're dead. What are they gonna do about it?
I wish they did her character better. Like, yeah, it was a little bit annoying, her character, but I wish she played out that whole I'm gonna send the wrath of God on you because you killed my brother.
I know they played it at I think the creative choice for making her so stoic and so like, yeah, I want to kill him. It's such a I guess it's the dissonance of like when you expect someone to be angry, she's almost like robotically angry, and I guess that's a valid way to show anger, absolutely. But I'm just kind of like, it doesn't translate. I don't understand.
No, you don't feel. Yeah, she needs to kill Henry because she doesn't understand. No, it's more of like, I'll kill him.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
I want that like, oh, I'm gonna rain hellfire on this person. That's how much I hate them.
Well,
we don't get it.
Probably because she is the leader and she must be like, I can't really show that much emotion. Unlike someone.
Like, I guess she's sending everybody to kill this motherfucker.
True.
She's sending everybody. Like, what about it? Like, tell me, there's no Fedra, there's no more collaborator. What in the world does she get out of killing Henry?
Exactly, this girl's so petty.
All these resources, dude. Like, think about it, right? Like, Bill and Frank, like, had a whole like little utopia where it was just the both of them happy. You know, they were okay with giving up supplies. This is a whole city of people just looking for one dude because your leader said, fuck this kid. Like all of these bullets, all of this gas, this manpower, electricity, like gear.
She said like God knows how many vehicles and got destroyed in that one area.
Sure, what? And then somebody is always posted 24/7 at the exits. I'm like I mean, I totally find that valid, and so, but it's just kind of like I see where they're going, but also somehow,
it's
what
weird,
is she
right?
doing?
It's such a waste of money.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Like, ma'am, do you not know how much it costs to like keep your army running?
Right?
Like,
sorry.
Can't you just send Perry the Platypus to kill them?
No, like, but still, we do get a cool gunfight.
We do. Wait, which gunfight?
After the tunnels?
After the tunnels, we're already in, huh?
And we get this whole Full Metal Jacket sequence.
Yeah, where
Joel, we did.
Yeah.
Joel fights the end from
If he just waited for like maybe an hour or two, he would have just died of old age.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh my god, is this... Okay, hear me out, right? I obviously I didn't remember, so I just kept asking the person who I was watching with, oh my god, is this Tommy? Is it because he can't see? And then it's just like a random old dude, and I'm like, okay. He looks like he could keel over any time.
Yeah, but like when Joel just meets him, this dude just happened to be like,
I'm like, sir,
Sir, you're 89. Just stop it. Just drop dead, please.
I don't know why that's funny. Jumper, Enzo just said to drop dead to an old dude.
I mean, it looks like
leave him long enough. He could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see how he was aiming? He's like, you know what? I won't even bother aiming. Fuck it.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah. So now that we're like post Tuttle talk, so we can fully get into like what is probably the most exciting sequence in the episode, which is, you know, how does it happen first? So first we get the issue. So first we have Full Metal Jacket fight. Yeah. Oh, and then this is what the person who played the game I was watching with, let's just call them A. A was like, oh my god, this is what I had to do with the game. Fuck this part. I was playing with the controller.
No, I do remember there was a sniper like part, but it was like in broad daylight though.
Yeah.
I do remember that part. But yeah, so Joel takes care of the sniper, but he hears on the radio that he's already contacted the Karen lady to come over where they at. And I love that though. You just hear dissonance like, run!
Yeah.
Run! I was like, oh shit.
Almost
Yeah,
Mad
and then-
Max esque. Like, this is pretty sick.
Yeah, it was. Especially like I was like, she was like, I like at least when she talks, right? The Karen talks. You know, she's like, oh, she's like talking on the wall. Like the person's like, there's a bunch of cars, and she's like, so write
That's
it
why you're
down.
in front. Yeah.
That's why you're in front. And he's like, oh yeah. It's kind of like the I'll do it myself, idiot, like that kind of thing. But
She's just like,
she's like, oh my god, these people can't think.
you know, maybe that's why she's the leader.
They're
Yeah,
just
maybe
like
that's why she's the leader, right?
She's like, they're just like NPCs, brainless.
Yeah.
But I
She's
do
the-
love it. The director gave Ellie the naughty dog treatment, where she's running and gunning.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I love that so
I
much.
enjoyed it. That's like.
Yeah. I love when she was talking to Henry. He's like, but Sam would have died. Like, come on, man, kids die all the time. We're like, oh, okay, this bitch.
Yeah. I really hated her for saying that, and I was like, I was kind of sympathetic, but then I'm like, go fuck yourself, ma'am, because like, okay, I was like, okay, and then the whole thing, and then the best, like the biggest comeuppance in the world. With the whole like explosion that happens with the car in the house, and then all of a sudden it's like you know how it's like a rats or like cockroaches like coming out of the seams, and I'm like, and I was like, ooh, that's a lot. I want to run.
And that was the thing. These were all the bodies they buried.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you guys fucked up.
Well, actually, wasn't it Fedra technically? Fedra was the one that kept them out initially.
Yeah.
Point. Good.
Yeah.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, not
Some of them were
the
clickers.
resistance.
So
Yeah, some
that
of them
would
were
have taken a
clickers.
while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And then, yeah, go ahead.
No, but
No,
yeah,
I was just gonna be like, so we have that. So we have the initial fight, and I'm like, woo! And then Ellie with that little kid, I was like, woo!
I don't know why.
that little acrobatic child though. Good job on the whole.
Yeah.
She's a gymnast apparently, so that was
Hey.
really good.
I don't know why
yeah.
that clicker zoned in on Ellie though, because there's gunfire.
Probably because she
everywhere.
was the closest at the time.
Yeah, closest proximity, and we get like this whole Jurassic Park 2 Velociraptor scene where she tries to hide in the car.
Yeah.
It's like flipping over the seat. I was like, ugh.
You also see how terrified Joel is for Ellie because he's trembling and it's like, oh fuck, I can't do anything.
Yeah,
Also,
exactly,
Joel-
right?
Yeah.
One hell of a shot.
Yeah.
like a clicker would be like maybe 2 centimeters away from Ellie's face, and he would just like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
God
kept
damn.
thinking that too. I was like, how he does not like shoot Ellie every time like a zombie is close. I'm like, that's impressive.
He's just like
Without hitting Ellie or Henny or Sam.
he's just like
Exactly.
He's just like, this is the way, and just starts shooting. Hell yeah.
He starts getting like pulverized. He disappear.
Pulls out the dark saber. Nah.
I wish.
I wish to. And then we get the bloater scene where Ed and I and John were like, I hope it's practical. And it is. The suit itself cost $500,000
$500,000
to make.
Yeah.
An hour to get in. And they only use this. For now, we think only it's for this episode, Rick. You know what? $500,000 well spent, though.
I would say, yeah. Like, this is good enough screen time for the bloater.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Nina already said that we don't have the spores anymore, so he doesn't cost anything. It's just a...
Yeah, it just bodies people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even random
and then someone
clickers.
said it was somebody even said it was like the way he rips like Perry the Rebellious Platypus's head was like
In the
very
game?
accurate, video game
Yeah.
accurate. I have to plug my laptop, but keep going, guys.
Yeah, we called it. We're like, I hope the bloater kills like the
Yeah.
way he does in the game.
Yeah, and then when he did, me and Enzo were like, oh, he did it! He
Yeah.
did the thing! Oh my god! That's
Yeah.
what happened!
Yeah, because in the game it just cuts when Joel's head starts to like bleed. You're like, oh, I guess he
Yeah.
just does the King Kong shit.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
We never see it like decapitate you and just,
Yeah,
but it would always cut,
yeah,
like, as soon as, we get to that part. But I do love it that Perry the Rebellious Platypus just, like, run! And just stand still. I was like, man, what the fuck were you gonna do?
Well, in
Yeah.
fairness, he was just trying to buy her time. He knew he wasn't making it out. That's probably his like. It was probably his biggest like kind of like thing where it was like, oh, I gotta make sure she gets out alive.
and then Clicker Kid goes full X23 on Karen just starts clawing her to death. I'm like,
Yeah,
Jesus
oh
Christ.
my
so
god.
sick.
Like the whole like setup to that where he was like, come on, let's not do this. And she's like, no, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, ma'am, your entire faction is like burning up and getting eaten behind you.
Yeah.
You're really gonna focus on revenge right the fuck now? And I mean, like, I guess that's supposed to be her thing, right? So and then like Ellie's like, ooh, child. Oh, what's worse? You guys remember that Vine? What's worse than a rapist? A child.
A child.
It's giving that. I'm like, ooh.
No, you know what? It was just like, I don't know, it just gave me a headache. Because every time she would be like, finally, I got you, Henry. Now, prepare to listen to my monologue. And then shit happens, and then fire and people dying in the background. Finally, I caught up to you. Now, get ready for my other dialogue. I'm like, just fucking shoot him.
Yeah.
Jesus
True.
Christ. And then the thing just, X-24, 3, well,
23.
Remember, whatever.
X-23.
Yeah, she X-Con gave it to her. But, like, she got ripped apart, right?
Yeah.
Like, good. Then they run away and they get to, like, a motel to just hunker down.
I wish
Yeah.
Joel and Henry did the scene where they bonded over Harley Davidsons, though.
Yeah,
Oh.
where him, like, talking about, like, riding cross-country, like, after retirement.
But no, Joel's like, what's the comic say? Endure, survive? That's pretty redundant. And Henry's like,
Redundant.
Yeah, it's really redundant, and they're like, it's not good. We know. Yeah, but I like it's throughout the whole thing. It was just like I don't know about you guys, but it was just like nice to see Joel connecting with somebody that wasn't Ellie at that moment, where it was like somebody who understood his struggle, right? Because admittedly, right, Tess didn't really have anybody. He and Tess had not didn't really have someone relying on them, like they relied on each other, but that was really it, right? But it was like for the first time he finally saw somebody who got what he felt, right? Like, was it who was the one who was like, you look like a father, like I know you are, or something like that? Was that Henry who said that? Henry understood.
Yeah, like she might not be your daughter, but you were somebody's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I get the vibe, and I was like, ooh, vibe check. But like, and then but I need to ask you guys, like, I want your thoughts on that entire like sequence prior to before they fall asleep.
He asked, like, what are you afraid of, Ellen? She's like, I'm scared of scorpions. I'm kidding, dog. I'm afraid of ending up alone. And this is spoiler for part 2. If you know her fate in 2, you're like, oh shit. It hits hard.
And yeah, anyway, go on. Sorry.
And then it plays out kind of like the game where he doesn't show Ellie in the game, but the camera shows it in the game. But here, he follows, shows her his bite, and he asks, like, are you still alive? A person inside. And Ellie's like, my blood can heal you. Being 14, she doesn't know how transfusion works. It's like,
No, but it was just that little tiny bit of faith, though,
Yeah.
with Ellie, where she was like, she thought she could fix the problem. Of course, making a vaccine isn't just because we pour something.
Our blood,
Yeah.
we're not. It's not a fantasy, guys.
Yeah, but it was like her, like, I care about this kid. I want to just try anything. At this point, just anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like she was so happy to also like find the connection that wasn't just Joel in that moment, where it was like fully someone who, that's the thing, right? Like Henry to Joel was Sam to Ellie. It was like somebody there, if not age, because I don't think Henry looked that old, but like somebody who just got them. And then like finally someone with Ellie her age, she got to act like a kid. I was like, dang, she's acting like a kid the whole time. It was like, wow, they're playing soccer and he looks so happy. And they're talking about their comic books and their jokes. And I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And like even Henry in the beginning of the episode was like, wow, I haven't heard that in a while. And it was like Sam like laughing and Ellie was also like giggling, and it was like, ah.
Yeah, so it was kind of rough when like Sam's just setting up, and I was like, God damn it.
This is it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But a little bit of me was like, did it work?
Yeah, me too. I was like, hey, come on, right? Like, it's okay, come on. We're gonna make it through. Bill and Frank lived a full life, right?
And then he
We're
turns
gonna go
around.
to Wyoming together.
No, God damn it. They had to
around,
stick
you're
with
like,
the source material on this one.
Dude, what was funny was like the moment Sam asked the question, like, do you think those zombies are still the same inside? I said, it's over. I was like, bye. I was like, bye. It's over. I'm gonna cry now.
Hurts too, because that's the same thing he asked in the game. So they're like, fuck. And then he turns around and he's already turned and he pounces on Ellie. Ellie's screaming for Joel. Joel tries to grab his gun, but Henry's like, no, no, no. And then he's forced to shoot Sam, and he's like, what did I do? What have I done?
Dude, I was watching that with my mom and brother, and like when that shit happened, it went quiet. Everyone
was like, oh, really? What was the reaction?
Dude, this is like my mom's reaction with every episode that The Last of Us comes out. It's just, ang sad naman neto.
And she still watches it with you.
And she still watches it.
Yeah. And then he goes, what have I done? And then he turns the gun on himself, and you see Ellie's reaction, because in the game you only see Joel's reaction. Ellie's reaction is more haunting for me. I was like, fuck.
No, it's just that little glimpse of like, wait, bam, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah, and then I remember
there's
thinking,
tears
like,
in her eyes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like you see like the light from her eyes kind of die down, and then like Henry, and then I was like, I had no idea what was gonna happen with Henry, because at that point, obviously at that point I was very aware that Sam turned, because that's how it happens in the game, right? It's like Ellie going in being like, Sam, and then like he's a zombie, and I'm like, ooh, got spoiled already. But I didn't know what the fuck happened to Henry. And then when he turns the gun on himself, I was like, is that what happens? And then like A was like, yeah. And I was like, is that what happens? And then I was like, did it feel this bad? And they were like, oh no, it was worse here, because they actually gave Henry a reason why, because like, you know, it was kind of implied, obviously, oh, I had lost my brother, but they really developed it here. And then I was like, so you mean it hurts more now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because in the game it's just him going like, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Like, what's my fault? What did I do?
Yeah, he was blaming Joel,
Yeah.
and then I was like, here he clearly knew he was the one at fault, so I was like,
Oh!
the best that we can do as an audience was like, put it down. Oh god damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
Ooh, and then I was like, God, I was like, I prepared myself to lose Sam. I didn't expect to lose Henry right now.
Yes.
And then they bury them, and then Ellie just writes, I'm sorry. And then Joel gets his bag. I was like, every time Joel gets a classic piece, is there like more heartbreak? Like if he gets
Yeah, is there more heartbreak?
Every like upgraded like loadout is just a traumatic experience.
Yeah, it's always a traumatic experience that
Like-
is related to that.
Like Tommy finds a golf club, like, here Joel, like, fuck.
No, but like apparently too, like the I'm sorry wasn't just because like the people were inferring that like the I'm sorry was actually Ellie saying sorry for giving Sam hope, because she thought that the blood was gonna work.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm sorry. It was kind of, her sorry wasn't just, I'm sorry you died. It was like, I'm sorry I couldn't help you. And I gave you hope for that. And I was like, why do you hurt me? Why am I in pain? Like every episode that comes out, and then people get all the details, and I'm like, I'm in more pain. Like there's a scene too, right? Like we're aware that like Sam has this little like, you know, his little superhero thing.
Yeah.
And there's even like a parallel with it with the cinematography where
Henry and the
Henry is
reflection.
looking out in the reflection. It's that, and I went, you really want to hurt me, huh? I thought the episode was over. Why am I still crying?
Instead of Sam getting like a Voltus 5 robot, we just get pain.
Yeah, about this vibe. And like, I wanted to ask, because I didn't know how to feel. Like, I wasn't sure how to feel, not feel, but how to kind of like take away when Ellie was the one who was ahead of Joel, when she was like, come on, Joel, like, let's go. How did you guys feel about seeing her move on? Because like, it seemed as if almost like it was, roles were reversed. Like almost as if Ellie was the one who was Joel in that moment, trying to move them along, versus like Joel was the one like kind of creepy. That's how I viewed it, but I wasn't sure how you guys would have viewed it.
No. God, you go first.
In the long run, I think this is perfect setup for season 2, obviously, because you kept asking John, why is Ellie like this in 2? And I think if all these events leading up to 2 are the reason why, now we'll be like, oh, that's why you're like this. Okay. And that's why Joel is a bit more softer, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. But you could clearly see that just the two just tired in completely different ways. Like, Joel's just like, you know what, I'll take a breath at this one. I don't need to go yet. While the other one's like, I don't want to fucking see this anymore.
Yeah, it's like, I'm so tired. And I think, like, I don't know yet, because we have yet to see any of Ellie's backstory so far. We're aware that, she's immune and everything, but so far we've yet to really get an in-depth backstory on her. And I was just wondering, like, how often has she experienced loss? And I am really excited, but also deadly terrified for a certain piece of dialogue that no matter what, you show it to me, I will break down. I will fall on my knees and break down.
From
And
the
I'm gonna
first
tell you,
game, second game.
first game, but I'm gonna tell you guys after the video because I wanted to remove. Like, I'm just gonna say there's something I'm looking forward to, but also terrified for.
Okay.
But anyway, that being the case, is there anything you guys wanna talk about?
If you know the first game, there's one last hurdle poor Ellie has to go through, and it's Mr. Hannibal Lecter.
Wait a minute! No!
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I took it out before I know.
Yeah, that's right. Don't worry. We're not gonna say it.
Nice.
We'll get to it.
I want nothing. I want nothing.
Oh, and we get Troy Baker's cameo too, I think. Soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, I think the next episode, from what I'm seeing, is that we're gonna meet Tommy next. They're gonna get to Wyoming. They're gonna meet Tommy, and then after that, it's gonna be the snow.
Yeah, Joel has to take a backseat for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm way excited. Again, it's going up. Stonks are high.
People are
Stop saying
asking.
hi.
People are asking, like, are we going to get the bunny scene? Like, I would die if they do.
The bunnies?
It's a bunny.
Oh, the rabbit. Just like...
yeah. I know that one too, because I still forever remember that. But it's funny because I know that scene, but I've completely forgotten where it came from. And then I was like, oh, it's from here, because something similar happens in Until Dawn, where it's like, oh my god, it's a bird. Doom, gets hit by a snowball. It's like, whoa. It's like, whoa. And I mean, like, one is better than the other, I guess. But with that being the case, I think, is there anything else? Because I think we can end it here. We don't give, we forgot. I was like, it's not a review, so I don't have to give that. So at the end of it now, let's bring it back to Enzo. Enzo, tell them where they can find us if they want to hear more of us.
Yeah, that's been our video for The Last of Us episode 5. We're on 5, right?
Yes.
Yes. If you want to see more of us, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, you can find me at Yandolphos1995 on Twitter.
Oh, you can find me at JohnGLM _ on Instagram. It is my account. How about you?
And you can find me at 9_na at Instagram and Twitter. So with that being the case, I think we can end it here. Thanks so much for tuning in to All Caught Up. And I'm sorry for like how many tangents. It's been a bit since I've done this. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy. If you want to hear more of us, watch our other stuff, And so just plugged it. So bye guys. See you around.
Ciao.